Week 12 in front of a sold-out crowd in Seattle. Jim Zorn brings his Washington Redskins to the Pacific Northwest, where a healthy Clinton Portis will start this afternoon. Fox NFL Sunday presents an NFC postseason rematch as the Washington Redskins battle the Seattle Seahawks. Matt Vasgersian, welcome to Week 12 in Seattle, where the Washington Redskins will try to snap out of a season-long two-game losing streak in a fascinating matchup. Jim Zorn and Mike Holmgren, longtime colleagues, so familiar with one another, each well-schooled on what to expect from their opponent this afternoon. J.C. Pearson, that means a lot of dummy calls, a lot of audibles at the line of scrimmage, fantastic intrigue. Who has the advantage?
Well, Matt, I definitely think that Jim Zorn has the advantage. Remember, he coached here for the last 7 years, went to all the coaches' meetings, the game planning sessions. He knows this offense and this defense inside and out. He knows all of these coaches, how they think and what they like to do in certain situations, and he knows all of these players. He watched them every day in practice. He knows what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are. Now, both coaches told us they did have to make some changes because the systems and the terminology are basically the same. So there's a lot of dummy calls. Words that meant one thing will now have a completely different meaning today in terms of audibles and how the line blocks up front. But with these systems so similar, there really is a different mindset. Washington is a run-first team behind Clinton Portis, who's the second leading rusher in the league. For Seattle, they're more of a pass-first offense behind Matt Hasselbeck. Should be an interesting chess match all day long.
Well, Jim Zorn is, of course, a franchise icon in the Pacific Northwest. His return to Seattle has been a big story in the NFL this week. And for more on that, we check in on the field with the third member of our broadcast team, Nichelle Turner.
Well, hey, fellas, try to wrap your brain around this, okay? You're the first quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks franchise. Your name's up on the Ring of Honor. You were the quarterback coach here for 7 years, and you were just inducted into the Washington State Hall of Fame. Now you're the head coach of the Washington Redskins, returning home for the first time against your former team. It's mind-blowing, right? Well, according to Jim Zorn, not so much. Zorn arrived here at Qwest Field very early this morning, and he headed to the visitors' locker room. He told us, though, he refused to get too excited about this whole thing. He said that he made a conscious decision this week to stay focused and stay with his current team. He didn't see anybody or talk to anybody until early this morning. And, guys, you said he was going to be focused, but you know he's got to be geeked to be back. Back to you.
Well, Nichelle, thanks. He has done a pretty good job downplaying it, but I'm sure there are a lot of things buzzing through that man's active mind at this moment.
Oh, no question. You were here as a player, the first ever quarterback for this franchise. You've coached here for a long time. Your name is up in the stadium. A lot of memories for him. He can try to downplay it all he wants, but I'm sure it's burning inside of him.
Well, he's going to have a chance to call plays immediately as the Redskins win the toss. They elect to receive. And taking a knee is Rock Cartwright. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Washington 20 for quarterback Jason Campbell and the Washington offense. And JC, there's been a lot made of Washington's inability to put up big numbers offensively. Some think that's been among the problems their last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and what they've got to do today, their emphasis is going to be getting back to running the football. That's what they were doing well when they were winning games. Don't worry about the points. As long as you're winning games, that's the important thing. Their formula is to run the ball first.
Washington starts in a 3-receiver set with Antoine Randall in motion. Clinton Portis is the lone back. Portis the ball carrier as he gets up to the 23. A slight gain on 1st down. We take a look at the Seattle defense today. They will be challenged by a very good Washington rushing game.
Yeah, they sure will. I think really the hat is on the secondary, because in order to stop Clinton Portis in the running game, you're going to have 8 guys in the box. That means those corners out there have got to be able to cover outside. That's where the matchup is going to be.
So Marcus Trufant, he had a big interception return touchdown in that wild card game last year here in Seattle. 2nd and 6. They hand it off to Portis again, and there's not much happening around the right side as Portis loses yards. It's the 3-time Pro Bowler Lofa Tatupu leading the charge for Seattle.
And that's what they've got to do. They've got to attack. They've got to pressure, play on the offensive side of the line of scrimmage. That's the way you're going to stop that zone stretch play that the Washington Redskins just ran. Lofa Tatupu, great job jumping up inside, but they've got to have that all day long.
It'll bring up a 3rd and 8 now for the Redskins. Washington ranks 21st in the league in 3rd down conversions. And again, a 3-receiver set with Campbell, Portis the lone back. Campbell's first pass attempt is batted away. Kelly Jennings had the coverage on Santana Moss, and the Redskins go 3 and out to start the afternoon.
And that's how they've got to start outside, but it starts with the pressure. You're going to see some pressure coming from the outside on Jason Campbell. Jordan Babineau coming around. There's Rocky Bernard inside, but then watch Kelly Jennings. Great job with his left hand coming in to knock that ball away. See the pressure again there, but those guys outside, if they can win coverage-wise, Seahawks have got a chance to win this game.
The ex-Seahawk, Ryan Klackemeyer, on to punt it away early. Justin Forsett starts the return at the 40. And Forsett is taken down just shy of midfield by Justin Tryon. A 9-yard return after a 38-yard punt. Well, Matt Hasselbeck returned to active duty last week against Arizona after missing 5 games, and it was a bit of a mixed bag. He is getting closer, though, JC, to having a full complement of weapons available to him.
And that's going to really help him. Got Deion Branch, Bobby Ingram, Corn Robinson. Those 3 guys, this will only be their 2nd game in a row together, so it's really going to help this offense and Matt Hasselbeck, but they've got to start fast. Use the pass, spread this defense out. That'll create natural running lanes inside for Julius Jones, but it's got to start with their passing offense.
Such an overused football cliche to talk about the chess match at the line of scrimmage, but it's one worth noting and worth following today. The Redskins have the nickel package on the field defensively. Hasselbeck steps up in the pocket and actually turns it into positive yards. He gains 6 before being taken down by Jason Taylor. Taylor, the active sacks leader in the NFL, featured prominently, of course, on that defensive end spot for Washington.
And they've got to be able to get more pressure up the field. They've got a great secondary. They've got 4 corners that are great man-to-man guys out there. They've got a good young free safety, LaRon Landry, and a good hitter in Chris Horton. Their secondary solid.
Hasselbeck looking to throw again. Behind coverage, it's incomplete. Corn Robinson slipped into the secondary, but Sean Springs made a great recovery to bat it away.
And they play a lot of man-to-man coverage, and I said they've got 4 good cover guys. Fred Smoot, Sean Springs, Rogers, D'Angelo Hall. You're going to see Springs right here, 24, just coming over. Watch him play the ball. Looks like he's beaten there, but he doesn't panic. He's that old veteran guy that doesn't panic, looks back for the football and plays the ball. They're able to break that pass up.
Seattle has really struggled on 3rd down conversions, 29th in the league. It's a 3rd and 4. Hasselbeck will throw it again. This is incomplete, intended for Deion Branch. So both teams begin their first possessions of the afternoon with 3 and outs.
And I think the Seahawks, what they've got to do, we talked about them having to throw the ball, but I think the tight end, John Carlson, is going to be big because the matchup with those 4 corners has to favor the Redskins. So I think Carlson on the tight ends and the safeties out there is where Seattle has the advantage.
Antoine Randall L. is the deep man for the Redskins. John Ryan's punt is signaled fair catch for Randall L. as he does so at the 12-yard line. Well, Clinton Portis in the offense back on the field. Portis may have lost the rushing lead in the NFL. He still leads the league in yards from scrimmage, the reigning NFC Offensive Player of the Month in October. But the left knee problem has been an issue for him the past couple of weeks.
And he told us last night, he said, hey, if I'm on the field, I'm healthy, and I expect to get the football. And the last couple of weeks, he didn't get the ball very much, 13 times against Pittsburgh, 16 times against Dallas. This offense didn't have a good game running the ball, and that's why they struggled in those 2 games.
With a 2 tight end set, Campbell look out from the backside, ball's out, Washington recovers. Darryl Tapp came in and got a clean hit on Campbell. As we welcome those of you joining us from the San Francisco-Dallas game, where the Cowboys were able to handle San Francisco and earn a 35-22 victory in Dallas. Alongside J.C. Pearson and Michelle Turner, Matt Vasgersian in Seattle.
We saw on that last play, Chris Samuels just getting beaten. Jason Campbell's taken a lot of hits, a lot of punishment the last couple of weeks. The Seahawks have seen that on video. They're going to bring a lot of pressure on him.
They hand it off to Portis, who gets a couple of those yards back. As he's tackled at the 11-yard line, it's going to bring up a 3rd and long.
Man, I talked about how this offensive line has struggled in protection the last couple games. 2 plays ago, watch Chris Samuels right here. Darryl Taps is just going to beat him. Actually, Chris Samuels is going to come over and try to help. He beats 2 guys. Actually beats the tight end, Todd Yoder, and then Chris Samuels. They've got to do a better job of keeping the quarterback upright.
James Thrash checks in for Clinton Portis on 3rd and long. Campbell throwing from the goal line, and he dumps it off to Mike Sellers, the fullback. Sellers gets close to the 1st down marker. They will, in fact, credit him with enough for a Washington 1st down. A 12-yard pickup on 3rd and long.
Mike Sellers is kind of that forgotten guy. He's normally just the big lead blocker type, but he's got very good hands. Can move for a big guy. Defenses kind of fall asleep on him. They lose track of him. He's caught a couple big balls.
Sellers, a Washington native, back in his home state. 1st and 10 for the Redskins after the game's first 1st down conversion. This is Sellers again in the flat, and that West Coast offense yields a gain of 3.
That's what I mean by him catching some balls lately. Last week he caught some big passes against the Cowboys. They can use all their weapons, and that's kind of what the West Coast offense is. It spreads you out, look for mismatches. They're going to spread this defense out. The ball can go to the tight end, can go to the run, to the halfback. They can incorporate the fullback. It really makes it tough for the defense.
Chris Cooley lines up at end. Campbell looked his way, but instead settles with the completion to the other tight end, Todd Yoder. Brian Russell had the coverage for Seattle, a gain of 4.
You know, I talked earlier about them having to keep Jason Campbell clean and upright in the pocket. He's done a good job. You know, he's not at the point yet where he can just put this offense on his back and lead them to victory. They've got to be more balanced, but he's done a good job. Remember, this is a guy that has played in 7 different offensive systems in 8 years, going back to college. So every year he's had to readjust his thinking every year, and he's done a great job so far this year.
Mike Sellers, the lone back with Jason Campbell as Portis checks out. And with a second left on the play clock, Campbell goes through his reads and goes down at the 26-yard line. Julian Peterson, the D.C. native, in to make the hit on Jason Campbell.
You'd have to call that a coverage sack. Kelly Jennings did a great job just jamming Santana Moss, and that's where Jason Campbell was looking, wanted to go with the ball quickly. He couldn't go there because he couldn't get off the line of scrimmage. Allowed Julian Peterson time to come in and make that play.
You know what Julian Peterson calls that? He calls that that's what you get for drafting LeVar Arrington in front of me in 2000 sack.
Yeah, he's still mad about that one.
I'm from the hometown, doggone it. Justin Forsett lets it take a hop. And they mark it down at the 40-yard line. Well, a little bit of the jitters perhaps for Jim Zorn in this return back to the Pacific Northwest. And as Nichelle already mentioned, the Seahawks' first ever quarterback in their inaugural year back in 1976. One of 8 players in the Seahawks Ring of Honor. And after his playing days were through in the NFL, he spent 7 very successful years here in Seattle as quarterbacks coach. And boy, Matt Hasselbeck is among those. It really credits Jim Zorn with his development as an NFL quarterback.
No question. Great career. You know, the first thing I think of when I see that, though, those throwback uniforms. Some people love them. I like the new ones better myself.
This is Maurice Morris breaking through the secondary. Morris is down inside the 20. LaRon Landry prevented a breakaway touchdown run. A 44-yard gain.
And watch the run inside. Maurice Morris just does a great job keeping his legs moving, keeping his feet, running through some tackles. You see, kind of gets lost inside there. Then he comes out the other end. Watch him kind of get lost in all the trash, the garbage there. comes out the backside. Remember, this guy was the starting tailback at the beginning of the season until he got injured. Then Julius Jones came in as the starter. So they've got two very capable running backs on this team.
That is a rare big play broken against a stout Washington defense. They entered week 12 having allowed an NFC low 25 plays of 20 or more yards. And it looks like Cornelius Griffin is limping off the field, the 9-year pro. Boy, the Redskins can really ill afford too many other injuries on that defensive front. So now Seattle in a two tight end formation after their second longest run of the year. John Carlson split wide, and the pitch, the flip, is to Leonard Weaver. Jason Taylor making the stop alongside Andre Carter.
And you know, I talked about a couple plays ago on that long run by Maurice Morris, how he kind of got lost in the shuffle. Well, the Redskins today, they probably have the shortest linebacking crew, starting linebacking crew in the league. London Fletcher only 5'10", H.B. Blades, the other starter today with Marcus Washington being out, he's only 5'10" also. So those guys, it's tough for those short guys to find the ball carrier behind those big lines.
2nd and 10. Into the end zone and just past, just out of reach for the veteran wideout Bobby Ingram, who had Sean Springs all over him.
And that's one that they've got to complete. When you have a chance to make a big play for a touchdown, you've got to do it. But Hasselbeck is going to get some pressure here. But the pressure doesn't come until late. He just overthrows Bobby Ingram in the slot here, working on Sean Springs. He's wide open. That's a pass that's got to be there. One that typically Matt Hasselbeck is going to put right on the money.
Well, Bobby Ingram among the weapons, getting healthier for Seattle. Missed the first 3 games with a shoulder injury. 3rd and 10 now. And Hasselbeck hangs the same jump ball into no man's land. Nobody home there. Boy, somebody miscommunicated on that route. I think there was something a little more than just a Hasselbeck throwing it away, and we've got a very late flag on the field now.
Intentional grounding. Quarterback also lost him down. 4th down.
Too far in no man's land, according to our official Scott Green, head referee today.
And not out of the pocket. He's got to he's got to get outside of that tackle box in order to just throw the ball away. You see, he's just going to drop back. There's nobody around. Just throws that ball away. And what they're saying down there is he tried to throw it to a receiver who was supposed to be on a 9 route, a go route there in the corner.
So it's going to make it a little longer attempt now for Olinda Mare. And the officials now discussing where exactly the ball to be placed. They're going to put it at the 26. That'll make this a 44-yard attempt for Mare, whose season long is from 51. He hit a 51-yarder here week 2 against San Francisco. Make it a 45-yard attempt here for Mare. We welcome those of you who join us from the Eagles and Ravens, where Baltimore beat the Eagles 36-7. Donovan McNabb benched in that one. And those joining us from that telecast are certainly well aware of what happened in that game. With J.C. Pearson and Nichelle Turner, Matt Vasgersian. Seattle trying to get their first points this afternoon. Mare's up and good from 45 yards away. .7:19 left in the opening quarter. 3-0 Seattle. Seahawks are on the board first at home. 3-0 Seattle after the 45-yard field goal by Olinda Mare. Rock Cartwright is deep for the Redskins. And Cartwright from the Washington end zone will bring it out 3 yards deep. He's across the 15 and the 20 and taken down at the 23-yard line. David Hawthorne making the special teams hit for Seattle. Well, the Redskins will start their 3rd offensive possession of the afternoon in what is their best starting field position at just the 22-yard line. Jason Campbell, 3 of his first 4. Lofa Tatupu so far has keyed a successful defensive effort by the homestanding Seahawks, who start this possession with the nickel package on the field. Quick slant is incomplete, intended for Santana Moss. Let's check in Los Angeles for the first time this afternoon with Kurt Menefee.
And a big matchup in the NFC South. Falcons hosting the Panthers. The pitch to Harry Douglas. A rookie gets his first NFL touchdown. Atlanta has scored on their first 2 possessions and have a 10-0 lead. Back to Seattle, Matt, JC, and Michelle.
Kurt, thanks. Good battle going on in the NFC South. We'll keep our eyes on that one. 2nd and 10 here for Washington. Campbell steps up to avoid the pressure. There he goes, just like he did against the Cowboys last week, and he breaks it into a big play down at the 40. Tackled by Deion Grant after an 18-yard gain.
Yeah, and this just shows how Jason Campbell is evolving in this offense. Now he's more comfortable. He can pull the ball down and run. This is one of the drills that they work on. Watch him pull his right shoulder through right there, avoid some pressure, and then have the mindset to just run the ball. And you notice that he didn't slide there. Jim Zorn said, not a good slider, Jason Campbell. I told him just to accelerate through contact down the field.
The 2 tight ends set for Washington. Play fake with Portis. Campbell has time. Couple of people bought that, and a wide open Santana Moss has it inside of Seattle territory. Another Washington first down on a brilliantly executed play fake.
And that really bought Campbell a lot of time. Much better protection up front by the offensive line. Guys stayed alive down the field. Campbell does a good job going through his progressions. That's what this West Coast offense is. Going through your progressions. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way across the field. Finally found an open receiver.
The rookie Devin Thomas at the bottom of your screen, split wide in for Moss. On 1st and 10, they run it with Portis. Portis down at the 35-yard line. A 6-yard gain.
And that's their best running play. They call that 90 press lead. You got that lead blocker, Mike Sellers. They like to run behind Chris Samuels. Over there, the big left tackle, the all-pro guy. That's where they like to run. That's where they have their most success.
A drive that began at the Redskins' 22. 2nd and 4. They hand it to Portis again, and he's broken another first down, tackled at the 25 by Julian Peterson. A 10-yard gain. Nobody in the NFL has earned more rushing first downs this year than Clinton Portis.
But watch the block by the fullback, Mike Sellers, number 45. Just a delayed draw. Great job at the point of attack. And he's like having a big, fast offensive lineman in the backfield. 280 pounds. He's that lead blocker. Opens up a lot of holes for Clinton Portis.
An extremely balanced drive being executed by the Redskins. Not on this occasion, however, as Big Howard Green is there to stuff Clinton Portis without a gain. You know, if you're Jim Zorn, let me ask you this. You know that the Seahawks have struggled to defend the pass, yet your bread and butter, the Washington Redskins' way to win, is by pounding the run.
You've got to pound the run. You've got to do what you do best, and you've got to get Clinton Portis going. That's going to force a safety to come down in the box, which actually is going to make it easier for you to throw the ball down the field, but you've got to start with Clinton Portis.
With some of that balance we talked about in the Redskins' first 3 drives. A 3-receiver set on 2nd and 9. Another play fake. Campbell buys a little time and dumps off a short completion to Clinton Portis out of the backfield, taken down immediately by Julian Peterson. You know, Jim Zorn told us when we met with him yesterday that the maturation process of Jason Campbell is starting to materialize. The numbers certainly back that up.
Yeah, no question about it. And remember, Jason Campbell, different system every year he's been in the National Football League, but Jim Zorn, being a former quarterback and his quarterback coach, has really helped Jason Campbell in his development as a quarterback. And the biggest thing was he told him you have to stay low, bend your knees, be in an athletic position.
Chris Cooley lines up in the slot for the Skins. Campbell looking his way, and it's incomplete. Cooley couldn't hang on after being hit by Jordan Babineau. So the Redskins failed to convert on 3rd down.
And you know, Matt, going back to Jason Campbell, most coaches teach quarterbacks to stand tall in the pocket, especially if you're a big 6'5" guy like Campbell. But what Jim Zorn has taught him to do is to bend your knees. The ball can come out quicker. If you've got to make a move, slide away from pressure, you can do that in an athletic position.
This would be a 43-yard try by Sean Sweezum, who is 19 of 25 this year. And Sweezum curls it, and it hits the bar. Missed it by that much. Still 3-0 Seattle. You know, it's tough to try to ingratiate yourself into Redskins Nation when you're an ex-Cowboy. Even tougher when you miss 43-yarders. Now it's back.
That's a game that a lot of people play before the game to see who can throw the ball and hit the crossbar. It's hard to do, man.
First and 10 Seattle. As Hasselbeck begins the drive from his own 32, and the handoff to Maurice Morris is sniffed out quickly as H.B. Blades among those in on the tackle. H.B. Blades, a guy with Seattle Seahawks football in his blood, son of ex-Seahawk Benny, nephew of ex-Seahawk Brian. This will come out on 2nd and long. Redskins have dominated statistically. Seattle with an early 3-0 lead. And again, this is Morris again. Nothing doing. Jason Taylor, a loss of 2.
You know, that's a good job by Jason Taylor. You see him standing up there. They've moved him around some. They moved him from the right side to the left side. More of a run type of guy. He's got to be on that open side where he is right there so he can stand up, he can move around. That's where he's most effective, on the open side where he can pass rush. They didn't bring him here to play the run. That's not what he does best.
Pretty good matchup. Taylor working on Walter Jones. A 4-receiver set now for Seattle on 3rd and 3. The dump off to Leonard Weaver, who's caught from behind. And the Seahawks will have to punt it away. Cornelius Griffin grabbed the ankle. You know, Matt Hasselbeck told us yesterday or 2 days ago, when they line up in 4 wide, they can usually find some matchup, if not 2 matchups, that they like. That's not necessarily the case with this very good secondary of the Redskins.
No, not at all. And that's why they've got to start using the tight end a little more. That's where their mismatch is going to come today. When you're playing against these 4 cornerbacks that are first-round draft picks, you know, it's going to be tough to catch balls down there.
A good secondary got even better with the addition of D'Angelo Hall. Antoine Randall L. is back to receive the punt, and it's a good one. From the 10. Randall L's across the 20 and taken down at the 23-yard line. A 13-yard return. Closing moments of the first quarter. 52 seconds left in this opening quarter in Seattle, and this one's turned into something of a defensive struggle where we anticipated all kinds of fancy play calling and one coach trying to outguess the other. You know, Mike Holmgren had the matchup right when he told us, I think we're both going to go out and just be ourselves.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do. You can't just completely change everything you do and go away from your strengths, but I think right now they're trying to feel each other out a bit.
Campbell with a deep ball. Santana Moss can't hang on. Almost the most acrobatic of circus catches, but Josh Wilson was able to interrupt what would have been a highlight play.
And Josh Wilson just in man coverage on Santana Moss. The Redskins have to take the shots down the field. They only took 1 last week against Dallas. Moss almost caught the ball like he did here, but he said, you got to give me more chances. You can't just go to me 1 time down the field and then not do it anymore.
Well, Josh Wilson has a lot of family watching in the D.C. metro area from upper Marlboro, Maryland. He had to go past the stadium every day on his way to school, and there are flags down on the play. We hear from Scott Green.
Illegal shift. Offense. Number 45. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
You know, back to Josh Wilson as they flag Mike Sellers on the penalty. He told us last year regarding that wild card matchup, he's playing for the Seahawks, playing against his hometown team. His entire family was rooting against him as a Seahawk last year.
Yeah, what a good kid, though. Very enjoyable meetings. He said he wanted to play well. Can remember going to some of the games, ran track, and they actually had a concession stand at RFK Stadium, named all the guys. One thing he didn't get right, though, he said, hey, I know all the pigs. I think he meant the hogs.
Inside of 20 seconds left. Campbell throws it into the ground, and the flag comes out immediately. Brandon Mebane, the second-year man out of Cal Berkeley, applied the heat.
Ineligible downfield. Number 66. Penalty is declined. Third down.
Pete Kendall, the former Seahawk, the ineligible man downfield.
You know, Josh Wilson, Kelly Jennings, they had a tough time last week against Arizona. Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden really lit those two guys up. So they've got something to prove out here today. They want to come out, play well, show that what happened last week against the Cardinals was just one of those days, that they are better cover guys, better corners than they showed. And so far, they've done a good job today.
Campbell and the Redskins will spend a timeout with 16 seconds left in the opening quarter. 3-0 Seattle.
Just some confusion here by the Redskins. You see all the personnel coming on the field, then two guys run off the field. Mike Sellers comes back. They're not sure what personnel grouping they're supposed to be in. Time is running down and forced Jason Campbell to call a timeout there.
So 3rd and 15 now with the right personnel grouping set. It is a 3-receiver set for Washington. On the play fake again and down center field is short gainer to Portis, who has a Washington first down. Clinton Portis proving his value every Sunday. A 16-yard pickup. And with that, the first quarter expires in Seattle. Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages. Redskins offensive leaders through the first quarter in Seattle. Jason Campbell, 6 of 11. Clinton Portis with 22 on the ground. He has added a couple of receptions for 16 yards. And after a 16-yard third down dump off, nets a first down. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Redskins from their own 35. Campbell's in the air again, and this short ball is caught by Chris Cooley for a gain of 5. And Kurt thanks. New York Giants going to be awfully tough to catch atop the division in the East, as you can see. This is Portis again across the 40 and trucked up at the 44-yard line, just short of a first down. Craig Terrell making the stop for Seattle.
Yeah, you're right, Matt. The Giants going to be tough to catch. That's why this game is really, really important for the Redskins to stay in that wild card playoff chase. So they said this is a big game. Not on
3rd and short. Campbell keeps it himself and hurdles for a first down.
That's pretty interesting there. You don't normally see a play like that where the quarterback's going to come and he's going to fake the lead to the tailback and just try to keep the ball outside. Not much of a fake. And look how far back Jason Campbell bubbles. Makes it tough on himself. You only need a yard. You got to get up the field. Clinton Portis did a great job of faking and leading on that, but Campbell's got to do a better job, man.
This is Portis carrying across midfield now. You know, back to Clinton Portis, and you bring up his ability to block. He is probably one of the, if not the most well-rounded back in the conference, and his blocking probably isn't talked about enough.
Not enough, and that's what Stump Mitchell, the running back coach who was here in Seattle for so long, told me on the field before the game. He said, there's Stump right there. He said that Clinton Portis is one of the most unselfish, hardest working running backs in the league. He runs down the field, he blocks, doesn't, when he's not getting the ball, and superstar guys don't normally do that.
Portis trying to bounce it. Now he cuts it back inside. He's taken down at the 45 of the Seattle Seahawks.
And Clinton Portis, one of the best all-around running backs in the league. He can do it all. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He's not afraid to block. In fact, he likes to block. That makes him a complete back, and he is as tough as they come mentally. And he's not a real big guy, but deceptively strong, deceptively fast, and really his mentality, his makeup, makes him the type of player he is, because he is going to give you everything he has on every single play.
Portis checks out on 3rd and 3 for James Thrash. And Campbell's pass is batted down at the line of scrimmage. Julian Peterson having a big first half against his hometown team.
Yeah, he does a great job just bull rushing. He's going to come and bull rush on John Jansen right there, and then watch him get his hand up. He can't get to Jason Campbell, but he has the presence of mind to know that ball is coming out and just sticks that left hand up there and knocks that ball down.
Well, just like Josh Wilson, Julian Peterson having to deal with a lot of Redskins fans in his family. He told us that he's got a bunch of family staying in his house. They've been wearing Redskins jerseys all week long. Bobby Ingram signaling fair catch on the punt as he takes it at the 20-yard line. 11:51 left in the half. Still 3-0 Seattle. Well, it has in fact been the likes of Julian Peterson, Jason Taylor, who have made the biggest impacts in the first half so far in Seattle. Just a 3-0 lead for the Seahawks, back with J.C. Pearson and Michelle Turner, Matt Van Sturgeon, as Matt Hasselbeck and the Seahawks go to work from their own 20. From a 3-receiver set, Hasselbeck will look to throw, and it's incomplete, intended for Deion Branch. This might remind Seahawks fans, JC, of the first half last week against Arizona when Hasselbeck returned after missing 5 games.
Yeah, and he admitted that there was a little rush there, some timing issues, and we saw that ball just thrown too high there. But you know, as they go on, and he got better in the game last week, he'll get back on the same page with having Bobby Ingram out there, Deion Branch back, Corn Robinson. The passing game should improve as the game goes on.
He sends Deion Branch out wide, and now decides to call the audible with just 2 seconds left on the play clock. And they do not get it off in time.
Delay, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Boy, that's a great example of what we saw and what we heard from Mike Holmgren and Jim Zorn during the week, how Matt Hasselbeck, under Zorn and Holmgren's instruction, gets under center immediately, then likes to call his audible, but that time it cost him too long.
Yeah, that's the tempo, but what caused it is, look at London Fletcher, the linebacker jumps up in the A-gap, the gap between the center and the guard. That's what forces Hasselbeck to have to make an audible at the line of scrimmage.
Maurice Morris across the 20. So Morris gets that yardage back and then some as LaRon Landry makes the hit after a 10-yard gain.
Remember when we talked to Mike Holmgren and said, you know, what do you expect Jim Zorn to do? What doesn't Matt Hasselbeck like, and what really bothers him? And he told us when those linebackers jump up inside in those A-gaps between the guard and the center, Matt really doesn't like that, and that forces him to get out of a play, and that's exactly what we saw happen on that last play.
3rd and 5 now. But Hasselbeck again with that quick tempo under center immediately.
Yeah, and they're in those A-gaps, and now he's got an audible at the line of scrimmage again.
And a little jumpy was Jason Taylor. Was he drawn off? Yeah, we know that Taylor can put on a pretty good speed rush, but that was a really speedy rush.
It's short, huh?
False start, offense, number 43, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
He was in fact drawn offsides. It was Leonard Weaver that moved first.
Yeah, look at you hear all the talk at the line of scrimmage, guys clapping, really trying to confuse the offensive line, of the Seahawks and try to get them to worry about where they're coming from. So they're going to make a lot of noise. They call that false chatter up there. Guys are going to be making all kind of calls that don't mean anything. But to the offense, they start to panic because they don't know if it's real or not.
Some have accused this telecast of featuring a lot of false chatter.
Speak for yourself.
3rd and 10 now. And now Hasselbeck has to burn a timeout in earnest. The first example of what we talked about when we went on the air, the chess match really coming out here in the second quarter. Those are the featured pieces to this intricate board game being played this afternoon. Jim Zorn, Mike Holmgren, and Matt Hasselbeck. And in that series, JC, Zorn pushed all the right buttons.
Yeah, he did. And he knows this offense. He helped install this offense, really trained Matt Hasselbeck, so he knows what really bothers him. He's brought it out the second quarter.
On 3rd and long, the pass is incomplete, intended for Deion Branch. Well, there have been a couple of balls thrown at Branch in this first half, and he is yet to hang on to one of them as he was defended well.
Yeah, he sure was defended well by D'Angelo Hall. Right here, man-to-man coverage, comes in motion, and watch D'Angelo just squeeze him right here, just run with him across the field. Even if he caught that ball, it would have been short of a first down, but D'Angelo Hall's came in last week after being released by the Raiders and really done well. Big interception last week.
Santana Moss took a punt back 80 yards week 8 against Detroit. No such luck this time as he's tackled after a gain of maybe a yard by Courtney Taylor. Clinton Portis and the Redskins offense when we come back. Well, Clinton Portis answering any questions that may have still been out there about the status of his left knee. He has figured prominently in the Redskins offensive attack as per usual today.
But the Seahawks have done a pretty good job of containing him. Only 49 total yards so far. That's a win for the Seahawks.
2 tight end set with Todd Yoder in motion. And that one caught by the rookie wideout Malcolm Kelly, the second rounder out of Oklahoma. Just his second reception of the season, a 4-yard gain.
You know, I was talking about the Seahawks a second ago, Matt. And, you know, after their game last week, they pretty much know that they're not going to win the division. They've won it 4 straight times. They're not going to do it this year, but they want to be the spoilers now. They want to play the spoiler role.
Been a rough year in the NFC West for the longtime division champ. Portis with a caravan in front of him down the sideline and out of bounds at the 37. A 20-yard gain.
Yeah, what a great block by Chris Samuels, first of all, at the line of scrimmage. And then watch Mike Sellers, the fullback. You see Chris Samuels right there, number 60, and then Portis just right behind Mike Sellers, does a great job taking out Brian Russell. Clinton Portis has a big game.
Mike Sellers doing nothing to hurt his cult status among the Redskin faithful. Walla Walla Community College in the house in Seattle today. On the play fake, Campbell with a deep ball down the sideline and incomplete, intended for Malcolm Kelly. Kurt thinks, yeah, that scenario more possible with San Francisco losing in Dallas today. This is Portis running right and taken down at the 30 by Marcus Trufant. A 7-yard gain for Clinton Portis.
Clinton Portis, a great back, and we talked about that, gets all the accolades, but Mike Sellers, my goodness, watch number 45, the fullback, watch him, he's going to seal the edge first, hit on Julian Peterson, and then watch him on Lofa Tatupu. I mean, he's just knocking guys around all over the place. Like I said, he's like having a big, fast, athletic guard in the backfield.
Mike Sellers, a former Edmonton Eskimo with the CFL, running igloo-like blocks. Portis for the first down. Rocky Bernard makes the tackle at the 25, a 5-yard pickup for Portis.
And that's one thing that they felt they could do against this Seahawks defense, because they're not big, they're not real physical. They're smaller guys. They try to rely on quickness and speed. So the Redskins felt like they had the advantage if they played more smash mouth type of football.
Fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 from the 25. Portis again, why not? As he nets 3, taken down at the 22-yard line. A reminder, this January, Fox once again brings you the greatest week in college football, the FedEx Orange Bowl, the All-State Sugar Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, and of course the FedEx BCS National Championship game. College football's biggest games this January, only on Fox. I told you Oklahoma was going to beat Texas Tech yesterday.
After the play, unnecessary roughness, number 89, 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, Santana Moss getting a little chippy after the play, and it cost the Redskins 15 yards.
I'm sure Santana Moss a little frustrated because Josh Wilson has done a good job of covering him all day. You can see that just the hands to the face mask and the helmet. A lot of that is just frustration.
Uh-oh, people up in
Oh, that left hook. He's lucky he didn't get kicked out of the game for that. Not only did he grab the face mask, anytime you throw a punch like that, that can be cause for ejection.
People up in the upper Marlboro, Maryland, down on Moss right now. 2nd and 23. Officials reconvening now.
You know, this is not very smart by Santana Moss. Again, frustration. Look at him. You don't punch a guy in the face mask, you're going to break your hand. You're a wide receiver. You make your living with your hands. You don't punch a guy. Believe me, that punch did not hurt Josh Wilson one bit.
Liddell Betts is in the back of the eye for the Redskins on 2nd and 23. Campbell's pass caught by Sellers out of the backfield. Julian Peterson quick to cover. 7:20 and ticking here in the half. A 3-yard gain. But Mike Sellers has been a bigger part of the passing game for the Redskins the past couple of weeks than earlier in the season. Of course, it's nowhere near the magic that he had in 2005 when he scored 8 touchdowns on 13 touches. And he'll come off here on 3rd and 20. Again, it's Liddell Betts in the backfield, loud as per usual here in Seattle. Taylor into the corner. Incomplete. Kelly Jennings had the coverage on Santana Moss again. There is a flag on the play. And this is bad news for the Seahawks.
Yeah. You're going to get pass interference.
Interference, defense. Number 21. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. 1st down.
You can see it's just a little stutter and go. Kelly Jennings reads the play. Doesn't have to reach out and grab him. Catch him. Get him for pass interference. Could have easily been illegal contact, but he just loses track of the ball. Doesn't track the ball very well. Santana catches it, but doesn't get his feet in bounds.
That is a 21-yard penalty play. That sets up 1st and 10 from the 14. Now Moss made that catch with 1 foot out of bounds, but the Redskins catch the break. Yeah, no gain on the ground with 6:30 remaining in the half. That was Liddell Betts, the ball carrier.
And you know, that's really been the biggest problem for the Seahawks defense all years. They've given up too many big passing plays down the field. They've given up 36 of them coming into this game, and that's the most by any team in the National Football League. You can't afford to continue to get beaten over the top for big gains.
Well, while they have been gassed by the big pass play this year, penalties like that one not characteristic of a Mike Holmgren coach team. 2nd and 9. Nickel defense on the field for Seattle. Another play fake. Chris Cooley left by himself. He's inside the 5. And that's going to give the Redskins a 1st and goal at the 4-yard line.
You know, so much attention is given to the other guys. Clinton Portis in the running game, Santana Moss down the field, that teams sometimes forget about Chris Cooley, who's kind of really emerged as one of the best tight ends in the game. Leads them in catches. so far this year. He's able to just leap across the field, but he's a guy that you just can't sleep on. You got to make sure you know where he is at all times.
10th play of the drive. They mark Cooley down at the 3. This is Portis, just shy of the goal line. Boy, Clinton Portis is not shy about running into contact. All 5'11", 228 of them. Ran into 3 green jerseys there.
Yeah, he sure did. And I think he got the worst end of that, but I guarantee you it's going to take more than that to keep him down.
Liddell Betts is checked in for Portis. Betts carries around the left side. Touchdown, Washington. So Liddell Betts, who came back against Dallas last week after missing 3 games with a knee problem of his own, reaches pay dirt for Washington, and the Redskins have scored the game's first touchdown.
Notice how they did it. They went to smash mouth type of football, just ran the ball down the field.
First rushing TD of the year for Liddell Betts as Clinton Portis walks it off along the Redskins sideline. And the 11-play drive nets a 7-3 lead for Washington. Well, Clinton Portis earning the hard yards on that touchdown drive, being worked on the sideline.
It looked like they're working on his right hip. May have taken a shot on it as he comes through. Hard to tell there. You don't really see much. Maybe just the way he planted right there at the point of impact. Maybe jarred his hip just a bit. 85
all-purpose yards for Clinton Portis. With 4:32 remaining in this first half. Josh Wilson will take the kick. And he's down at the 26-yard line. Jonah, Thanksgiving Day here on Fox. The Seattle Seahawks travel to Dallas to face the Dallas Cowboys. Kicks at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Thanksgiving Day right here on Fox. And for those who might be asking the questions, yes, the Seahawks have played in Dallas before on Thanksgiving, but not in a while, and to very mixed results.
Yeah, and it's tough to play on Thanksgiving Day after playing on Sunday. Short week. Body's still a bit sore.
Hasselbeck running the play take. He dumps it off to Morris, who's tackled at the 30 after a 5-yard gain. Let's take you back to 1980. Thanksgiving Day, the Cowboys sacked Jim Zorn 6 times on their way to a 51-0 lead. It was a tackle-eligible touchdown play to Ron Essig late in the 4th. It scored the Seahawks' only touchdown in Dallas on Thanksgiving Day, 1980. A largely forgettable turkey day for Jim Zorn. Nickel defense on the field now for the Redskins on 2nd and 8. Hasselbeck with some time, and a great reception made by Corin Robinson for a first down. But what a fantastic catch.
Yeah, that's what you have to have. You can draw it up, whatever play you call. Guys just have to make plays, and this is an example of a guy just making a play. Corin Robinson does a good job coming across the middle of the field, reaching out, diving, laying out, making that catch. That's what it's about. Guys just have to make plays at certain times.
They hand it off out of the 4-receiver set to Morris, who breaks a tackle and breaks into Washington territory. Well, that's making something out of nothing. Morris gets 8 yards on the carry.
Yeah, and that's just another example of a guy making a play when it doesn't look like there's much there. Great job with his feet.
So on 2nd and short, John Carlson and Will Heller check in a 2 tight end formation for Seattle. The pitch is to Morris. He's got the first down. Tackled by H.B. Blades. A 7-yard gain that'll move the chains. Well, Julius Jones checks in at tailback. We have seen much more of Maurice Morris this afternoon than we have of Jones. Jones, the Seahawks leading rusher through 10 games. He'll try to get around the right side of this carry, and he does. Another Seattle first down. Jones still going. Tackled at the 21. That's how we reach the 2-minute warning with Seattle on the move. Well, not the trademark of Seattle's offense, but they have been rushing the ball very effectively here on this drive.
Well, they've watched video of how Dallas attacked this defense last week, and they really had a lot of success running to the edges. These defensive ends, they don't get real wide in those 9 techniques. They're a little tighter inside, so it's easier to hook those guys and get on the edges. Look how tight defensive end is there. You can hook him and get to the outside.
Hasselbeck will throw it out of a 2 tight end set, dumps it off to Leonard Weaver. Weaver taken down shy of the first down by Rocky McIntosh. An 8-yard gain for Seattle.
You know, in this league, it's such a copycat league. When teams watch video of what has worked against a certain opponent, they're going to eventually get to it, and they're going to do it. And that's exactly what the Seahawks have done the last few running plays.
Maurice Morris back on the field at the back of the eye inside of a minute and a half. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Here comes Chris Horton from the safety spot. They hand it off to Morris. He's got another first down inside the 10. London Fletcher made the stop for Washington. Who is this offense?
Yeah, and right now it's a running offense. They're just going to run this zone to the left. But now Maurice Morris, he just finds a crease, plants inside. They push the front side. They try to cut off the back side. It was a good job right there, and he just finds a hole in the crease, jumps up inside for another good game.
Hasselbeck rolling, and he dumps a floater out to his leading receiver, John Carlson, who's inside the 5. Well, on this drive, the Seattle Seahawks looking more like a team from the NFC East, running between the tackles, finding the edges on the ground, than a team that throws it around out of 4 receiver sets. That's been Mike Holmgren's favorite way to win.
Yeah, and you've got to be able to adjust during the game, and that's what a lot of coaches don't do well. They just try to stick to their plan, but what Mike Holmgren has done this drive is he's changed. Their passing game hasn't been good because the corners of the Redskins are so good, all 4 of those guys. So now he said, hey, we're going to run the ball now. They don't think we're going to run it, so now let's run it. And, you know, Mike Holmgren, when you asked him that question about the chess match in our meeting, he said, well, you know, he's kind of torn. He's like, well, Jim Zorn thinks I'm going to do this, so maybe I'll do that. But then the more I think about it, he knows I'm going to do that, so maybe I might do this. So the chess match just goes on and on.
Zig when I should have zagged. Well, Zorn was the one that created the offense in the red zone in his 7 years in Seattle. We'll see how Holmgren comes after the Redskins here. A dump off. Touchdown, Seattle. Boy, it's hard to tell which one of these teams is running a West Coast offense.
And a good call, and a call that you don't normally see on the goal line is a screen. But again, their receivers are having trouble getting open down the field, so they just run those guys off, and now they just run a screen. You very rarely see this inside the red zone, but again, a great job. They know they're getting man-to-man coverage, so now they drop the screen off, and Mo Morris gets in the end zone.
Melinda Mariat to make it a 10-7 lead for the Seattle Seahawks. Disguise and intrigue, the themes here in Seattle in this first half. Well, neither Jim Zorn nor Mike Holmgren wants to be predictable, but you can predict what you'll get at the Visa halftime report, because Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from the early games, boy, including a couple of wild ones. Buffalo hanging 54 in Kansas City. The Jets knock off Tennessee. They fall from the ranks of the undefeated as the Jets look better and better with every Sunday. And they'll keep you posted on the games in progress as well, including the Giants in Arizona. Arizona with a chance to clinch the West if they hang on, or if they can come back and win, and if Washington can defeat Seattle.
You know, Tennessee, even though they were unbeaten, you know, you never really felt like they were going to win all the games. I think people expected them to lose, and it just didn't seem like a team like last year with the Patriots going 16-0, ultimately 18. You know, the Titans just didn't seem like that, and even the players themselves said, hey, we're going to lose some games. We know that. We just want to position ourselves the best way we can. So I don't think they're going to be too upset at that loss.
72 Dolphins are safe again. More champagne being popped. 29 seconds left till half. Brock Cartwright brings the kick out from the goal line. Cartwright's across the 25 and past the 30, finally taken down at the 32-yard line by Lance Lowry and company. Well, 21 seconds and 2 timeouts. We'll see if Jim Zorn feels as though that's enough time to try to move the football into field goal range, or if in fact they play it safe here in the waning seconds before halftime.
You know what teams typically do on the first play of a 2-minute drive is they'll run a screen or they'll run a draw and see how many yards they get. If they make a big play out of it, then they'll hurry up and try to score, and if not, they'll just let the time run out.
Moss in motion. Campbell throws across the middle for Chris Cooley, who's taken down at the 45. First down Washington, and the Redskins will spend one of their remaining 2 timeouts. Again, the Visa halftime report coming up next. Information, scores, and highlights, including updates from the games in progress. Oakland with a 10-3 halftime lead in Denver. Of course, Indy and San Diego later on today. And the Chargers might get some help from a very unlikely source in the Oakland Raiders in that AFC West. Well, 15 seconds and a timeout left. First and 10 Washington. Again, Moss in motion. And Campbell's going to swing it out incomplete. Tried to get it to Liddell Betts. Stops the clock with 11 seconds left. Clinton Portis sitting out the remainder of the first half. We saw him at the goal line moments ago. Escorted off the field under his own power, but a little gimpy nonetheless, as it looked like they were attending to a muscle strain. And we're being told his return is probably in the second half.
And he was already dealing with that left knee injury.
Well, Campbell thought about the home run ball. Instead, he spikes it into the hip of Brandon Mebane. Darryl Tapp was the guy applying the heat.
Well, in this situation, if you're a defensive lineman, you know that you've got to get up the field. You know that the pass is coming, so Darryl Tapp working on Chris Samuels again, just fighting, never stops. Is able to come back under, knock that arm, Jason Campbell down. And now you just get deep. 3 seconds left, just get back, keep the ball in front of you. Hail Mary pass, they always taught, just knock it down.
Seahawks will rush 3 on 3rd and 10 with 2 seconds left in the half. The deep ball into the corner. James Thrash almost got himself under it before he ran into Deion Grant, and that's how the half expires in Seattle. The Seahawks with an impressive defensive effort. They lead at 10-7. Start of the second half in Seattle with the Seahawks on top 10-7. Back alongside J.C. Pearson and Nichelle Turner, Matt Vasgersian. You know, J.C., we thought at the beginning of this matchup that the intrigue was going to come at the line of scrimmage. Audibles, dummy calls. really what's most stood out to me has been the play calling coming in from the sideline for Seattle in particular.
And the way that they've kind of changed their game plan. I was really surprised that Seattle was able to run the ball so well, and even Matt Hasselbeck got into the act, but then Maurice Morris, averaging over 10 yards a carry in the first half, broke off some big long runs. Coming into the game today, Washington was only giving up on average 84 yards a game. Seattle already almost 100 yards rushing in the first half.
Well, before we kick it away to start the second half, we check in on the field as Nichelle Turner is ready to file a report as to some of the injuries sustained in the first half. We'll check in with Nichelle as soon as they kick things away. Seattle will receive to start the second half. Josh Wilson and Justin Forsett are deep. Second half is underway. Wilson up to the 15 and the 20. He's got a corner and now a sideline. And the Maryland native breaks the kick return into Washington territory. A 55-yard return.
And a great job by Josh Wilson. He had a 56-yarder last week, but look at him. Comes up the field, then comes all the way across the field. Return left, blocked very well. Nobody even touches him until the kicker dives at him. Already about 30 yards down the field.
He doesn't remember the fun bunch, but he remembers the pigs. And a big return. Sets up Hasselbeck, the offense in great shape. Pass caught at the 40-yard line by Bobby Ingram. And after the first down reception, now we check in with Nichelle Turner.
Well, guys, this is not the way Jim Zorn wants to start the second half, because what he told me was it's 2 or 3 big plays that his team has given up. That's the difference in this ball game. He did say, though, that we will see Clinton Portis again in the second half. And Mike Holmgren on the other side said that Matt Hasselbeck needs to settle down some. He says he thinks he might have been trying a little too hard in front of his old mentor. Back to you.
Oh, Nichelle, thanks. That's an interesting comment, certainly, as Hasselbeck's back on 1st and 10. That one dropped over the middle. London Fletcher came in to smoke John Carlson. 2nd and 10. Clinton Portis certainly playing a prominent role in that first half.
And he always does in this offense. And, you know, this offense kind of goes as Clinton Portis goes. And if he's doing well, running the ball well, really takes a lot of pressure off of Jason Campbell in the passing game. This offense really struggles when they get away from Clinton Portis in the run.
And the completion thrown by Hasselbeck is 1st and 6 attempts. 2nd and 10. He hands it off to Maurice Morris, who's tripped as he crosses the 30. Here's your fantasy update from the first half. For the latest in fantasy stats, log on to foxsports.com or NFL.com. And Maurice Morris has been the featured back for Seattle today. Only 1 carry for Julius Jones. Granted, it was a 19-yard run, but Morris has had most of the work. Leonard Weaver checks in as Bobby Ingram goes to the sideline now on 3rd and 6. Split Weaver out wide. Hasselbeck looks his way, but can't get out of the way. And they're going to whistle it dead at the 37. Rocky McIntosh will be credited with his 2nd sack of the season.
They just overload a side. They don't have enough to block. Look at all the guys down here causing confusion. Now McIntosh comes along with Horton. Maurice Morris can only pick up 1 guy. You can call this a coverage sack. The way they run their offense, that ball has to come out of there. Hasselbeck tries to pull it back down. Not enough time.
Linda Mare now being called to kick a season-long 53-yarder. No good. That would have been just shy of a career-long for the veteran kicker. Well, the Redskins will start in good field position here for their first second half possession after the missed 53-yard field goal by Lindemar. And as you can see, Clinton Portis good to go to start the second half. And they'll start it with the bell cow. Clinton Portis is across the 45. Where the Seattle defense has done a pretty good job, even without their leading pass rusher Patrick Kearney, of keeping Jason Campbell looking around his shoulder.
They have, but I'm really surprised that they haven't blitzed more, because they know from watching video last week how much pressure disrupts this offense. Mike Holmgren told us that they're hesitant to blitz a lot because they expose their corners on the back end, but the corners have covered very well this first half, so I'm surprised that the blitz hasn't come more.
Quick pass to Santana Moss with yards after catch, a first down. He bounces off a tackle and is finally taken down by Lofa Tutupu at the Seattle 36, a 15-yard gain.
And that might be why they don't blitz more than they have already, because they do on this play. Leroy Hill's going to come off the edge, but then it voids the middle of the field. So now look, they get the quick screen, and now Santana Moss is able to run it back to the inside because those inside backers just blitzed up the field.
Another play fake. Looking down center field, the pass caught by Mike Sellers, who's inside the 30 and tripped up at the 25 by Leroy Hill. You know, there is that thought, JC, that you're playing right into the Redskins' strength when you blitz Jason Campbell, because they run the slant, they run the screen so well in that West Coast offense.
Yeah, but you've got to get your hands up if that ball comes out quickly. But it really disrupts this offense. And really, last week, they were so worried about Jason Campbell getting hit and knocked around that it really affected the way Jim Zorn called his plays. He didn't try to attack down the field anymore.
John Marshall and the defensive staff upstairs. Campbell's pass is caught by Chris Cooley this time, and they mark Cooley down at the 23. Chris Cooley will have plenty to blog about after a weekend in Seattle. A Pro Bowler last year and a big-time fan favorite in D.C.
One of the best receiving tight ends in the league now. You know, it's funny how these coordinators have changed what they do. The Redskins have now kind of gone to their passing attack more than their run.
That was Portis inside the 20. Baraka Atkins made the tackle for Seattle. This matchup features actually two of the three top pass catching tight ends in the NFL. And Chris Cooley and John Carlson, Jason Witten the other. Cooley's made 4 receptions to lead the Redskins today.
There he is, lined up in the slot.
On 3rd and 3, they hand it off to Portis. Stopped shy of the first down as Brian Russell, the former San Diego State quarterback, comes up from free safety to make the tackle.
And what a good tackle that was by Brian Russell. Normally Clinton Portis is going to lower his shoulder and just run through a guy, but watch him try to sidestep right here. And maybe it's that hip is a little sore, doesn't have that burst and explosion, but Brian Russell does a great job coming up, wrapping him up.
The Redskins have converted 5 of 9 on 4th down this year. They'll try it on 4th and short. They pitch it to Portis, who's got the first down.
And that's what I was talking about just lowering the shoulders, getting square, coming downhill, and getting the necessary yardage. Watch right here. After he gets the pitch, he's just going to square his shoulders up, come right downhill. He knows he only needs a yard. Does a good job just running through. Again, there's Tapp and Brian Russell. This time he gets the first down.
On 1st and 10, Portis again. And there's nowhere to run this time as he runs into a green wall of defenders. Redskins are over 100 rushing yards for the afternoon. Well, split pretty evenly in terms of the net yardage.
Yeah, and the balance. That's something that they really made a conscious effort of today, is trying to stay balanced, run and pass.
Quick pass into the corner for Malcolm Kelly, who had Kelly Jennings all on top of him, and it's incomplete.
Here's just another fade route outside. Just going to try to motion down, give himself more room to run to the outside. really just runs himself out of room out there. Jennings does a good job of squeezing him, pushing him to the sideline, but they've run quite a few go routes and fades today, but not much else. So it makes it easy for those corners. They're just going to turn and run out of there.
10th play of the drive for the Redskins. Another play fake. Campbell steps up and takes off. He's inside the 10.
At some point, he's going to have to learn how to get down. You don't want your quarterback down the field taking big shots from linebackers and safeties. And of course, there he wants to try to get as much yardage as he can. Got a long way to go for a first down, but Jim Zorn told us, that he told Campbell, whenever you run, just keep going full speed and just try to get whatever you can instead of going down. I don't know if that's always going to work.
We'll talk about some of Jim Zorn's teaching methods in a moment. First, a 26-yard attempt by Sean Sweezum, who missed from 43. He's good from 26 yards away. A lot of talk in D.C. about Jim Zorn's teaching methods, trying to teach quarterbacks to slide using a slip and slide in camp. He's told Jason Campbell not to slide because he hurt himself on the slip and slide in camp this year. And the way that teaching method evolved was when Jim Zorn was in Detroit as quarterbacks coach. He had Charlie Batch up there, and it's hard to imagine a guy as athletic as Charlie Batch not being able to slide, but that was the case. So Zorn brought in Frank Tanana, the old left-handed pitcher, a baseball player, to teach him how to slide on a slip and slide. Kicks taken back just shy of the 20-yard line by Josh Wilson. Frank Tanana teaching guys how to slide. Now I've heard everything. Well, 1st and 10 for the Seahawks from their own 20-yard line. 7:11 left here in the third quarter, and as you can see, Matt Hasselbeck's day has progressively gotten a lot better.
Yeah, they came out starting as a pass-first type of offense, but then that didn't really work that well, so they went to the run. Had some success, and really the run has set up the pass for the Seahawks today.
Seattle comes out with 3 receiver set. Morris breaks through the line and has a first down. LaRon Landry made the tackle for Washington, and Maurice Morris continues with his big day.
And all they're doing is reading the ends. Who's got the edge? If they stay outside, now he jumps right back inside of them because they flow too quickly to the outside. London Fletcher there, 59, the inside backer. And then if they hook that defensive end, he's just taking it on the edge around the corner. So they're doing a great job on the edge right now, the Seahawks.
Morris averaging better than 9 yards a carry. Here he is again on 1st and 10, gaining 6. Since when do you gain 6 and hurt your average per carry? That's the kind of day he's having.
Yeah, a good running day. And remember when we talked to London Fletcher, he said, these Seahawks, they're not the Giants or the Cowboys that are just going to come out, hit you in the mouth, and play smash mouth football. But that's exactly what they're doing right now, taking it to them.
Morris again, and this time the Redskins get that penetration into the backfield as Morris is stopped for a loss.
London Fletcher said that this offense may be a little tougher to defense because they're not that type. They spread you out, they do more things. They were really, he said their focus was stopping the pass, and then they'll worry about the run. But now Mike Holmgren's done a good job of kind of flipping that script on them. So now they better start thinking about run defense first.
Leonard Weeder checks in for Bobby Ingram now on 2nd and 10. With Morris at the back of the eye. Again, Hasselbeck active at the line. Play fake. And he's got a wide open target. Dropped. Oh, my. Carlos Rogers had fallen down, and Corin Robinson was all by himself and hit him right in the chest.
Again, guys making plays. You have to make a play when it's there to be made. Good job by Corin Robinson. The ball just hits him right in the chest. And as a receiver, you don't want to allow that ball to come into your body because you can get those crazy bounces. You got to reach out with your hands, catch the ball with your hands, and then bring it into your body. Corin Robinson didn't do a good job.
Seattle trying to convert on their first 3rd down today. They picked up the blitz, and that one's intercepted. LaRon Landry back to his feet as he takes it back to the Seattle 35-yard line.
And that was just a bad throw by Matt Hasselbeck. Kind of sidearm, off balance. The ball just sailed on him, and LaRon Landry comes up with the interception. He's going to get a little pressure from the outside by Carter, and then a little pressure coming from the inside. But watch how he throws the ball. Just kind of sidearm, just flips it out there, and it just sails on him. Not accurate.
What a great grab by LaRon Landry, a member of last season's NFL All-Rookie defensive team. Flag on the play as Campbell is smothered and taken down at the 38.
Offside, defense, number 91, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, Baraka Atkins, the second-year man out of Miami, guilty of the offsides violation. So a 1st and 5 now for Jim Zorn. First turnover of the game, a big one. Campbell runs the play fake and hits Cooley on the other side of the field, who breaks it inside the 15 and finally taken down at the 9. They're going to actually mark Cooley out of bounds earlier and place the ball at the Seattle 12.
Well, wow, did they bite that run fake? Hook, line, and sinker. Everybody runs to the defense's right on that play fake. That bootleg just comes wide open with Cooley.
5 receptions and a game-high 54 yards for the Pro Bowl tight end. 1st and goal for the Redskins. Portis after a gain of maybe a yard. Leroy Hill in on the stop for Seattle.
I'm thinking, with this 2-8 season that the Seahawks are having, all these injuries, Leroy Hill's hit, the way that he's playing in his year, kind of being overshadowed. He's having a great year, leading his team in tackles, doing all the things, rushing at times, coverage at times, great tackling. I think he's had a phenomenal year, and he's a guy that the Redskins said need to be blocked.
Portis split wide. 2nd and goal. Campbell's pass is caught for a touchdown. Antoine Randall. The 2nd touchdown reception of the year for the former Indiana quarterback. Swings him on for the point after, and the Redskins have taken a 17-10 third-quarter lead. All set up by the interception by LaRon Landry. Well, Antoine Randall had 10 catches, 94 yards, and a TD in that wildcard playoff game in Seattle in the loss last year. His touchdown reception in the 3rd quarter this afternoon has given the Redskins a 17-10 lead. Josh Wilson deep to receive the kick. Short kick. Wilson starts the return at the 9. Broke a big one earlier. Another great return by Josh Wilson as he's tackled shy of the 40 by Kareem Moore.
And going back to that last touchdown, the Seahawks blitz Lofa to Tupu, and they leave the middle of the field wide open, and that allows Randall to beat Josh Wilson to the inside, and now there's no help in there. Just makes the catch. You're going to see him here, right here. Just jumps inside of Josh Wilson. There's no help inside. He's able to make that catch, slid into the end zone.
Both teams really reaching deep into the bag of tricks in the red zone today. It's 1st and 10 for Seattle from the 37. Hasselbeck has to settle with a secondary target as he has the pass completed to Maurice Morris. Tonight on Fox, Hope has a fighting chance because Jack is back in an all-new 2-hour television event. 24 Redemption tonight at 8/7 Central right here only on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised. Second and 6 for Seattle. Another play fake. Hasselbeck looked at Carlson, instead breaks it for himself and is marked down perhaps just shy of a first down.
And that's what Hasselbeck did a couple of times last week. A good quick decision, pulls the ball down and gets the yardage necessary for a first down.
Again, JC, it's the Jim Zorn influence, one of the greatest scrambling quarterbacks that the league has seen in the last 30 years. And you know, we told that story about the sliding teaching, the sliding technique. And in order to teach Matt Hasselbeck how to save himself sliding when he scrambles, Jim Zorn brought John Olerud into camp, a Seattle Mariner at the time. And they're going to mark Hasselbeck just shy of the first down.
And the reason that he didn't slide on that particular play is because he knew how far he had to get that first down. So he was doing everything he could to get there, even though he comes up short. But that's why there's no slide here. He knows exactly where that first down marker is.
Just a nose shy of a first down now. It'll be 3rd and inches. Owen Schmidt has checked in. He provides blocking support, and Seattle converts. First down, Seahawks. Kurt, not even close. He took off with his guys, left us all by ourselves.
But we watched the apricot.
Maurice Morris is up to the 45, tackled by Lorenzo Alexander. You know, JC, back to the Giants. They clearly enjoy playing at that stadium in Glendale, Arizona. And again, they're going to be just really tough to catch in the NFC.
Man, they are. Eli Manning is playing very well, very efficient. But their running attack, those 3 guys they have, Brandon Jacobs, Ward, Bradshaw, that's really what does the damage. It sets things up for Eli. They just absolutely pound people on the ground.
Doing it without Brandon Jacobs this afternoon.
But they're pretty good on defense, too.
Oh, and by the way.
Yeah, by the way.
2nd and 6. Morris is tripped up in the backfield by Sean Springs. Former Seattle first rounder. Spent 7 seasons here in the Pacific Northwest. And we're inside of a minute here in the 3rd quarter.
Look at that time of possession, how much Washington has been able to control the ball, the time of possession, and not give Seattle very many chances. Only 35 plays so far offensively for Seattle.
First down, Seattle. Deion Branch running the slant.
Now that was a good throw. Exactly where you want to put it on those slants. You want to lead him upfield and low, so he's the only guy that has a play on the ball.
Well, they tried to go to Branch throughout the first half unsuccessfully. That's his first reception of the game as time will tick away on the 3rd quarter. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a word from your local Fox station.
And when you look at this graphic here by the Seahawks, they're a passing team. Only 59 yards passing. They've had to kind of flip the way that they play offense and run the ball a lot more. Typically, they're going to be real heavy pass-wise, but passing game hasn't worked today. So they've gone to the run and made that adjustment.
Julius Jones has had 1 carry, good for 19 yards. He checks back in here to start the 4th quarter. 1st and 10 for Seattle. Play fake. Hasselbeck throws a wobbler, batted away by Carlos Rogers, intended for Deion Branch.
And that's one of the reasons why the passing game hasn't worked. The secondary of the Redskins have played well. They've covered well. Everything was done well on that play. The protection gave Hasselbeck time. Hasselbeck went through his progressions, came all the way back to the backside, and threw the ball, but Carlos Rogers just made a great play.
The injured Washington Redskin is the 7-year vet Andre Carter. We'll duck away. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. Well, Andre Carter, the 7-year veteran, has started off the field after that last play, and Chris Wilson, the former British Columbia Lion and Grey Cup winner, takes over at that right end. The handoff is to Julius Jones, and Jones is stopped after a gain of maybe 2 yards. You know, back to that secondary of the Redskins, JC, because we saw the great play by Carlos Rogers a couple of moments ago. There may be corners in the NFC East that get more attention. Asante Samuel, Aaron Ross, Terrence Newman in Dallas. I don't know that you could find a better one than what the Redskins have between Springs and Rogers and now Adam D'Angelo Hall.
Fred Smoot, you know, I think you can't find a team with 4 better corners than what the Redskins have.
They have the nickel package on the field through the Redskins, and that one's caught by Bobby Ingram. First down, Seattle, working on one of the aforementioned Sean Springs.
Yeah, and Bobby Ingram is a guy that's done it well for a long time. He told me to make sure, hey, even though I'm 35, I can still get it done. You see him working out of the slot. That's where he's at his best. Quick feet. Said it's been tough for him this year because teams have doubled him because Deion Branch has been out, so Bobby Ingram has been the big weapon at wide receiver. But now that Deion Branch is back, he feels like he won't have that double coverage. He'll have a lot more room to work.
A 21-yard gain brings up first and goal. Hasselbeck looking end zone. Touchdown, Seattle. The rookie tight end, John Carlson. His 3rd touchdown reception of the year. There's the old Seattle passing game that seemed to have been missing most of the afternoon.
Yeah, and the great thing there is Bobby Ingram ran an arrow route back across the middle, and that really froze the defense and then allowed Carlson to just run to the outside on that corner. It was wide open.
The 10-play drive covers 62 yards and burns just over 5 minutes of clock. Seattle back even. Boy, this has been every bit the matchup that we expected as the Seahawks and Redskins are locked up in a 17-17 tie. John Carlson makes the touchdown grab to bring the Seahawks back to even. So many fascinating subplots here in Seattle today. Jim Zorn's return to the Pacific Northwest. A lot of familiarity between these coaching staffs as Rock Cartwright brings the kick back across the 25, taken down at the 30 by Jordan Babineau. Jason Campbell and the Redskins offense back to work when we return. Well, Jim Zorn and Mike Holmgren they've taken on the persona of the 2 characters in the Spy versus Spy cartoon strip in Mad Magazine. One guy scheming against the other, trying to blow up a bridge. The other guy rolling a stick of dynamite in front of the other guy's offensive unit. It has been punch and counter punch to the tune of a 17-17 tie in Seattle.
You lost me there, bro.
You never read Mad Magazine? On 1st and 10, they hand it off to Clinton Portis, and he nets 8 in what has been a big afternoon for the all-world tailback. You know, part of the importance of this chess match has been keeping the quarterback Jason Campbell clean for the Redskins.
And they've done a better job in the second half. You see the first half against the blitz. He didn't complete a ball when he was blitzed in the first half. The second half, he's understanding where the blitz is coming from, getting to the ball out to his hot reads, and completing the passes and beating the blitz this half.
Flags down, jumping us at the line of scrimmage. Darryl Tapp was the guy moving before the snap. We'll see if it is registered as such.
Offside. Defense. Number 55. 5-yard penalty. First down.
A third-year man out of Virginia Tech and a native of Chesapeake, Virginia, guilty of the penalty. So 1st and 10 from the Washington 44. And on the play fake, the pass goes out to Chris Cooley, who can't hang on. Julian Peterson has been all over the field today for the Seahawks.
Yeah, he sure has. Done a good job of just bringing pressure. And that time, they called the right pressure at the right time. He comes off the edge. The Redskins try to run the boot. They run it right into Julian Peterson.
6 tackles and a sack for the DC native. Clinton Portis out in favor of Liddell Betts in the backfield. It's Mike Sellers. Sellers, the ball carrier, who is taken down near midfield, a gain of 5.
And look at the guy making the tackle, Julian Peterson. Again, lines up at the defensive end spot. Just watch him work down the line of scrimmage. Just comes down, fights off Cooley, just makes that tackle at the line of scrimmage. Julian Peterson playing a great ball game.
4-time Pro Bowler in the midst of a signature afternoon. There's Sellers in the slot. The pass to Santana Moss with a lot of blockers in front of him. Moss is still going down the sideline. A first down and more as they mark Moss out of bounds at the 27 of the Seahawks, a 24-yard gain.
And that's why they put Sellers in the slot, because he's a blocker, and then watch him come out and make the block on Kelly Jennings. Just right now they're in man coverage, so his man Brian Russell, when he goes outside, Russell has to go outside with him because that's his man, runs himself out of the play.
We've got a challenge flag down on the field.
Runner stepped out of bounds.
That was all happening right in front of the Seattle sideline. And the challenge for Mike Holmgren will be the spot, as they say that Sellers may have stepped out of bounds earlier. We'll be back to take a look in less than 2 minutes.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Seattle is charged with a timeout.
Well, Mike Holmgren took a shot in challenging whether or not Santana Moss had bounced out of bounds earlier on this run.
Yeah, watch his feet. He's pretty close to the sideline, or on the sideline, actually. That's a good call. It doesn't look like he ever stepped out of bounds.
Well, you saw in that first replay, the line judge was right behind him, watching every step.
Yeah, he's just tiptoeing right down the side, never went out of bounds.
Portis in the back of the eye. Clinton Portis, the ball carrier. He's across the 25 before running into a pile. A reminder that Fox's football coverage doesn't end when the games are over. Afterwards, stick around for the OT, where Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy bring you exclusive interviews, extended highlights, and reveal the new BCS standings. The OT presented by Lowe's is coming up right after the game here on Fox. There's a big upset in the making as Denver trails at home against the Raiders, 30-10 Oakland, and the guys will update you on that among other contests. Campbell swings it out to Antoine Randall, who cuts back inside and gets inside the 15 before being tackled by Julian Peterson.
You know, the big thing about that OT, Matt, is who is going to be higher in the BCS standings, Oklahoma or Texas, and that person or that team will move on to the Big 12 championship, with Oklahoma beating Texas Tech yesterday, and you called it, I believe.
I did call it.
Three-way tie there.
Everybody thought I was a fool. They still think that, but I was right about that game. We'll also go inside the Dallas locker room on the LT presented by Lowe's after the game.
I think Oklahoma's going to be higher.
Portis split wide. The pass goes the other way to the rookie Malcolm Kelly. Speaking of Oklahoma, his second reception of the game, his third of the year. Well, Malcolm Kelly was slowed by a hamstring in camp, and then it was a left knee problem that slowed him down. So Jim Zorn gets one of his young weapons healthy today. One of the things that Mike Holmgren is contending with. Mike Sellers checks in for Chris Cooley now on 2nd and 3. The hand of Portis. And Clinton Portis might be marked shy of a first down here. He is right on our marker on your TV screen. We'll see where they set the ball down.
So you got to give that Seattle defense a lot of credit. We thought that they weren't going to be able to hold up against this physical running attack of the Redskins, but they've done a good job. Even though they've given up 126 yards rushing, they've been tough yards for Portis to come by.
A good old-fashioned measurement. About a half a football shy of the first down. You know, if it ain't broke, why fix it? I hate that cliche, but why not give the ball rather to Clinton Portis in the 4th quarter, something that the Redskins try to do whenever they can.
Yeah, no question. He leads all running backs with 18 first downs rushing in the 4th quarter. When it's time to close it out or go ahead, you've got to go with Clinton Portis behind Mike Sellers, that big fullback, and just pound people, grind them, wear them down. It seems like Seattle's starting slowly but surely to wear down 4th quarter.
3rd and a half a yard. Campbell's going to try to throw for it, and it's incomplete. Dropped by Sellers. If Mike Sellers hangs on to that football, he's got a touchdown.
That's a catch that Mike Sellers has to make. The ball may have come out a little hard from Jason Campbell, but Mike Sellers got to make that catch. He makes that catch, like you said, he's in the end zone. He knows he's not going to get very many opportunities. The fullback, and you see Jason Campbell, like, come on, man, you got to make that catch.
Sean Sweezum is 1 for 2 today. Missed from 43, made from 26. This is from 22 yards out, and the lead. The Redskins take a 20-17 lead with 9:19 left to play. Boys at 7-4, improving their stock to make the playoffs, something that Jerry Jones, of course, guaranteed. Short kick as Josh Wilson comes on, tries to bounce it outside, and ends up losing a couple of yards as Kareem Moore gets him again on special teams. From Kurt Menefee to Kurt Warner, our discussion of a potential 3rd MVP award in the desert.
Yeah, it's looking like that. He's playing like he's going to win. I think he or Portis right now.
This is Morris hurdling past the 35-yard line and finally taken down for a first down. Morris has eclipsed 100 rushing yards for the first time this season in the 4th afternoon of his career.
You know what the Redskins have done here? They've taken out the strong safety and they've put Sean Springs in as the 3rd corner where the strong safety normally will be. But look where they run. They run right to him. Sean Springs is knocked way down the field by Bobby Ingram. Now Maurice Morris has a big gain.
Hasselbeck runs a play fake. Here comes the pass rush, and down goes the Seattle quarterback. Lorenzo Alexander credited with his first sack of the year, the 2nd-year man out of Cal, combining with Demetric Evans.
I talked about them going 3 corners. When you go 3 corners, it improves your coverage, but it weakens your run defense. So the Seahawks have got to look out there. They've got to understand that there's no strong safety. Chris Horton, their big physical safety, is on the sideline. He's not in the game, so they've got to attack and run the ball to the slot side. They should have some room.
2nd and a long 17 now after the sack. Quick pass caught on the far side by Courtney Taylor. So they get some of that yardage back after the sack. That's going to bring up a 3rd and 11. Well, what does Mike Holmgren dial up on 3rd and long? Seattle is 3 of 9 converting 3rd downs here today. Washington counters with the nickel package on the field. Here comes Horton. Look out. Hasselbeck hit as he throws, and it's incomplete, intended for Bobby Ingram. He had the blitzing strong safety right in his face.
Yeah, and that's what Chris Horton brings. See, Hasselbeck looks like he's a little injured there, but Chris Horton comes from back here. Now he walks up late. They don't account for him. See, Sean Locklear stays inside. Now Horton just comes off the edge untouched. It's a shot on Hasselbeck and forces that ball to be thrown short.
I think Chris Spencer, Hasselbeck's center, might have fallen on him in pass protection. Here's John Ryan out to punt it away to Antoine Randall. It's going to check up nicely for Seattle. Downed at the 2. Jordan Babineau down there to touch it dead. A 61-yard punt. Try to take a look back and see what happened to Matt Hasselbeck on that last play.
Looks like they're looking at his hand or his wrist. See, Horton's going to come in. It's like either that or, like you said, Chris Spencer falling down after the play on top of him.
Well, you know, for a team that's not supposed to be a big blitzing team, Washington has picked some pretty good spots to bring 5-6 people.
Yeah, and they needed to because they've had trouble getting to the quarterback with just 4 guys all year.
Portis will try to earn some running room as they're pinned back are the Redskins inside the 5. That's good for 8 as Deion Grant stops him just shy of a 1st down.
And when you can run for 8 yards on 1st down, that really helps everything, especially when you're pinned deep into your own territory.
We remind you to stay with us on Fox after the game for the OT presented by Lowe's. A complete rundown of the early games and perhaps some games that might still be in progress. 2nd and they call it 1. Portis has the 1st down. As he crosses the 20, dragged down by Deion Grant. Clinton Portis is over 100 rushing yards for the 6th time this season.
And you see how he does such a great job of sliding. He's got such good vision for a running back and then good feet so that he can see a whole backside. He can slide. Watch him start to his left. Then he's going to just see a hole back to his right side. And then he has the feet to get all the way backside and up the field.
Again, Portis. Another ground 1st down. Portis wrapped up at the 44. This is exactly how the Redskins like to win. Lead late and give the ball to Clinton Portis.
That's exactly what he told us when we met with him in the 4th quarter. It's got to be his time. You've got to give him the ball, especially in a close game. Let him make some plays for you. He said he wants to burden this off, to be the guy on this offense that puts it on his shoulders. Give him the ball.
Through the first 8 games, 30% of Portis' carries came in the 4th quarter. It's Liddell Betts in the backfield now. He takes the handoff between the tackles and is stopped at the 46 by Lofa Tatupu. We'll see if this punishing rushing game of the Redskins in fact can open up some aerial space.
Well, the Seahawks, they've got to be a little more aggressive defensively. They just can't line up and be physical and stop the run. You've got to put these guys corners in man situations and bring some pressure. Even if it's a run, you stop the run on the way to the quarterback.
Betts again. And Betts is stopped short as Baraka Atkins makes the tackle. So it's going to bring up a 3rd and 7 now. This is a huge 3rd down stop opportunity for Seattle. The Redskins leading in just about all the offensive categories. They certainly held the football a lot longer than the Seahawks have. Playing out like the Jets-Titans game.
Empty formation, so you know this ball has got to come out quickly.
Campbell's pass caught for a first down by Santana Moss. Kurt, thanks. Still over 11 minutes left in Phoenix. Giants on the verge of moving to 10-1 on top of the pack in the East. And of course, Dallas with a big win at home over the 49ers. Campbell keeps it and slides shy of a first down.
That's a smart play by Jason Campbell, not going out of bounds, staying in bounds, keeping the clock moving, but they've got to get that slip and slide out again, because that's an ugly slide. And the reason why they didn't work on it anymore, he's got his cleat stuck in the slip and slide when they tried it. Got his cleat stuck in the turf there again.
Somewhere in southeastern Michigan, Frank Tanana is frowning. Jim Zorn's sliding coach. 2nd and 2. Portis. This is a drive, by the way, that began all the way back at the Washington 3.
And there were over 7 minutes on the clock when they got the ball, and they've been able to just drive it down the field running the football, keeping the clock moving.
It's going to take us to the 2-minute warning as Jim Zorn and the Redskins pound the Seattle Seahawks into 4th quarter submission. Well, it's been quite a drive that the Washington Redskins are in the midst of here in the closing moments of the 4th quarter. They've only thrown it once. It's been a steady diet of Clinton Portis, who has rushed for 136 yards this afternoon. Seattle needs a stop on 3rd and 1. Portis has another Washington first down. That is 6 first down carries for Portis this afternoon, 142 yards on the ground.
And that's where he's been so good, so valuable. The 4th quarter, when you have to grind it out, you have to make first downs, you want to keep the clock moving. Portis has done a good job this year in the 4th quarter.
Seattle has spent a timeout. You know, when push comes to shove here at the end of this matchup, and we spent a lot of time talking about disguise and dummy calls and audibles, the Redskins have done today in the 4th quarter what they've done to win all year.
Yeah, they have. And at some point in time, all that goes out the window. You're not so worried about, hey, let's change this call, let's change that call. You get into the mode of let's do what we do best. And the Redskins finally got into that mode of pounding the football, running the ball with Clinton Portis, and that's what's worked for him the second half.
Minute 46 left. Portis trying to bounce outside, and there's not much doing out there. He gains maybe a yard before being tackled by Julian Peterson. And Seattle will spend another timeout. 3rd and final of the half. Again, a reminder, the OT presented by Lowe's follows our telecast from Seattle. Time permitting, Kurt and the guys will perhaps send you out to the Giants and Arizona game in Glendale, where there's just under 10 minutes left between New York and Arizona, with the Giants on top 31-19. It has not been all fun for Clinton Portis today, even though he's rushed for 143 yards. He has been dinged up all afternoon.
And keeps coming back.
Liddell Betts in his place. And Betts is taken down by Baraka Atkins. Seahawks say they've got the football. That, in fact, whistle dead. Or is it? Scott Green trying to decipher through.
They're trying to block it all out. All the Redskins are saying down. Seahawks are saying no. They've got the ball, and you got to back everybody up. Get everybody back.
Seahawks football! Oh, after some deliberation, they say the ball was in fact fumbled by Betts.
Wow,
Where'd the ball come out? There's the ball on the ground there. Liddell Betts never was down. He was on top of a Seahawks player when that ball came out. You can see he's on top of Baraka Atkins, and then that ball just comes out. Liddell Betts nothing ever touches the ground. Watch his knees. Nothing ever comes down. He's on top of Atkins.
On the play. First down.
I think it was Brian Russell who actually pulls this ball out right here, just fighting. That ball comes out. That's a fumble.
Inside of 2 minutes, and anything reviewable would have to come from the booth, and apparently they've seen all they need to see upstairs, and it is a fumble that gives Seattle 11th hour life. Just the second turnover of the afternoon, and Mike Holmgren gets the break he was hoping for. Seattle out of timeouts. Under a minute and a half as they start to drive after the fumble at the 21. Hasselbeck is intercepted. Sean Springs.
Wow. That's the same thing that happened last week in their game against Arizona.
It's the former Seahawk, the former first-round choice of the Seattle Seahawks.
And then that's unlike Matt Hasselbeck. Looks like he just had a predetermined read that he was going to throw this ball on the corner route. Sean Springs is right in front of him.
Oh, Matt is furious.
Either he thought Corn Robinson was going to run a different route, or he's mad at himself.
Wow, Seattle gets a gift on the Betts fumble and on the first play of the drive.
And now they can run it out. No timeouts by Seattle.
They hand it right back to the Redskins. And this one is a couple of knees away from going into the books as a Washington Redskins road victory.
And watch how they just pass it off. Sean Springs is going to run under Corn Robinson. Maybe Hasselbeck was mad that he threw it short instead of throwing it over the top. But there's no way that he can't see Sean Springs there.
Jim Zorn rides back to the Pacific Northwest, and although he was on the other sideline last year, he, at least in the eyes of his players and those that were around in 2007, helps the Redskins avenge their wild card playoff loss here last year as Jason Campbell takes another knee. That's going to do it. We didn't see anything of Sean Alexander, the all-time Seahawks leading rusher, now wearing a Redskins uniform. But a couple of Redskins, former Seattle Seahawks, factor prominently in the win for Washington.
Hey, good to see you, man.
Two old friends and former colleagues, and it's Jim Zorn that earns the win in Seattle this afternoon. JC Nichelle and I are back right after this. The Washington Redskins earn the road victory in Seattle, 20-17 in Jim Zorn's return to the Pacific Northwest. We take a look at the UPS leaderboard. UPS, what can Brown do for you? Clinton Portis, the bell cow, another 100-yard rushing afternoon, his 6th of the year on a season-high tying 29 carries. For your chance to win a tour of the Fox Sports studio, go to foxsports.com/UPS. For J.C. Pearson and Nichelle Turner, this is Matt Vasgersian saying so long from Seattle. We've taken out a Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.